the most important thing to be working on is your mindset and maintaining a healthy mindset. So I'm going to make a very strong recommendation to you. This is how I live my life, and it is working very well for me. And many of our entrepreneurs follow similar practices that I talk to, and they maintain a good, healthy, resilient mindset in this way. So limit your media consumption during the coronavirus event.
You work hard in your business. On the Profit by Design podcast, we ask the big question: what has your business done for you lately? Hi, I'm Dr. Sabrina Starling, the business psychologist, the author of How to Hire the Best, and your co-host on the Profit by Design podcast. Weekly, my co-host, Mike Bruno, and I bring you tips, tools, and strategies from our own experiences and from the experiences of our guests, who are entrepreneurial thought leaders and real-life entrepreneurs, all to support you in making intentionally profitable and sustainable business decisions to live the lifestyle you desire. At Tap the Potential, we know that you want to be freed from the constant demands of your business. In order to do that, you need a business that supports your life. The problem is you have a cash-sucking business taking over your life, leaving you frustrated and discouraged. We believe work supports life, not the other way around. We understand you're paying a team and you're still having to do it all. There should be accountability. It shouldn't be this hard, which is why through our proprietary coaching system, we help thousands of business owners just like you have more time for what's important to them and grow profit by 300 to 800%. Here's how we do it. First, take our assessment at tapthepotential.com/assessment. Next, meet with our success team lead to debrief your results. Then, join our Better Business, Better Life program. By the end of your first year with us, you will have more time for what matters to you and more money in your bank account than you've ever had before. So take our assessment at tapthepotential.com/assessment so you can stop working so hard for so little return. Take your life back. We've recorded this in the midst of the coronavirus event and found these interviews truly applicable to all major change events. We must lead with love through adversity, focusing on our vision and continuing to have our work support our life. I'm Dr. Sabrina Starling, the business psychologist at Tap the Potential, and this special episode of Self-Care and Strategy for Entrepreneurs is being specifically produced for you, our profit designers, on the Profit by Design podcast. Profit designers, at Tap the Potential, we are on a mission right now to be a positive force in social media during trying times for all of us entrepreneurs. In that regard, I would love it if you could help us out. We really want to get behind any of you who are doing good things in your communities, showing up and leading with love. If you are doing something to keep your team together during this time and you're sharing it in social media, or you come across another entrepreneur who is being a gift from their gift in some way that you notice, please use the hashtags Lead with Love and Be a Gift. Our team at Tap the Potential is on the lookout in social media for those hashtags, and we will be reposting those social media posts from the Tap the Potential social media. Let's all lead with love, be a gift, and shine bright during these trying times.
My intention today is to go through with you some things to help you have a framework about the importance of your mindset and your mental health during this time, as well as some ways to help you start thinking more strategically and looking for, yes, my business is changing. Yes, this is a very different reality this week than what I was dealing with 10 days ago in my business. And what am I going to do with this? Rather than looking at, fear and going into that kind of restrictive thinking that is so dangerous. It's a real slippery slope for us entrepreneurs. So I'm going to be talking with you about that today. I'm going to be giving you a framework to think about this from. And I have some resources that I will be sharing with you. I plan to be here with you for about the next 20, 25 minutes to go through this information. So the first thing that I want to share is that I have been studying entrepreneurial burnout and the connection between the gaps that exist in our businesses and our levels of entrepreneurial burnout. And I'm very concerned about our entrepreneurial community as a whole because we are highly vulnerable to entrepreneurial burnout. And the best analogy that I can give you to think about this is every time we as the business owner step into our business to plug a hole in it, so to speak. So we have a team member who calls in sick, or we have to take our laptop with us on vacation to push payroll through. Those are like the little boy who puts his finger in the dike. Have you heard that story from Hans Brinker, the hero of Harlem? He sticks his finger in the dike to keep the North Sea from washing over the dike and taking over the village. So we entrepreneurs do that in our businesses. We plug holes. And when we have gaps in our business, when our foundation is not strong, we have these holes in our businesses and we start using our fingers and our toes. I can't quite get my toe all the way up here for a Facebook Live, but you get the idea. And sooner or later, we look like we're playing this really ugly game of Twister as entrepreneurs while we try to plug all these holes. So as we are studying entrepreneurs and assessing their levels of entrepreneurial burnout, I am seeing a very strong correlation between our levels of burnout and gaps that exist in our business. And that's before we have a significant affecting our businesses. Now, on top of that already existed, that we have a lot of entrepreneurs out there that are high risk for burnout, we also have a major event, some people are calling it a crisis, being added on top of that. So we have entrepreneurs who are really essentially hanging in there by a thread, now having to totally readjust everything that you're doing and try to hang on. And if you have cash flow problems in your business already, if you don't have cash reserves built up, that creates another level of stress. Thankfully, so many of you in the Tap the Potential community have been doing Profit First, which is a great way to strengthen your foundation in your business and provide you with some cash reserves to help you get through any changes that may be happening in your business. But let's go back to the piece about entrepreneurial burnout and dealing with stress. When we are experiencing entrepreneurial burnout, we're in a place of chronic stress from that. And so all of our stress hormones are coursing through our system continually. So it's like being in fight or flight mode nonstop. Okay, so that's already in place for many entrepreneurs. That's kind of how we live. And then we add a significant stressor on top of that, like what's going on with coronavirus. And it really heightens our risk for all kinds of things. Entrepreneurial burnout is a significant contributor to depression and suicide amongst entrepreneurs. So this is something we want to get in front of and address. And I want to give you strategies to cope so that you're not just surviving this event, but you are going to be able to thrive in it. So what we need to be aware of is when we are in fight or flight mode, our thinking gets very restricted. We go into tunnel vision, which as entrepreneurs is very dangerous for us because when we have tunnel vision, our scope of vision literally focuses very narrowly and we start to miss the opportunities around us. We don't see alternatives. And we also, when we're in a place of burnout, we start to pull away from people and isolate, which also shuts us off from feedback and for that opportunity for social support, which is something that makes us much healthier overall. So those are some risk factors that I'm very concerned with. And I want to just talk with you about being aware of this for yourself. So one of the things that happens if your business was already in a place where you felt like, oh, I'm just kind of hanging in there and this is a real struggle, you're in what we call survival trap. And this is a diagram that illustrates survival trap. So We have a goal that we want to reach as an entrepreneur. All of us have different goals, things that we want for ourselves and for our business. At Tap the Potential, we believe work supports life, not the other way around. So we support our clients in creating a business plan that supports your life vision. So I'm going to just operate from that assumption. This star over here represents your business plan that supports your life vision. And we want to get you from current situation where you are now over to the goal and the vision. And we want to get you there as quickly as possible. That's what we specialize in, is guiding our clients to that as quickly as possible. Now, what happens when we have any kind of crisis going on in our businesses, we can easily get pulled into, I've got to survive. And our survival instincts kick in. Our survival instincts are great for surviving. They are not great at moving us closer to our longer term vision. And actually, they can take us very far off course, because we start looking at, what do I need to do right now to address this immediate problem? And it can start taking us in directions that are away from our goal. So, if we start going in this direction and, okay, I'm going to take this really bad client, they're really difficult to deal with, but I just need the money right now to get through this next couple of months. So I'm going to do that work anyway. And we start doing that. That's going to take us off in this direction that is very far off course from our goal. So at Tap the Potential, one of the things we are working with our clients on through this experience is making sure that any decisions that you're making to get through the immediate situation that you have are aligned this way, and keeping you from making survival trap decisions that will take you very far off course. So those of you who are in our Better Business, Better Life program, that's what we're going to be talking with you about in the coming weeks and working with you on. Those of you who have attended the Breakthroughs on the Bayou retreat, and you're our alumni, you have access to our team through our private Facebook group for the alumni. Request a Q storming session with us, and we will also be working you through this. We have, over the weekend, I've been developing a special Q storming protocol that we will be offering to our small group clients in the Better Business, Better Life program and our retreat alumni. And for those of you who are not current clients of Tap the Potential, I'll be talking to you in a few minutes about a strategy session that you can have with a member of our team, where we will take you through that process to support you in your short-term decision making and help make sure that it's aligning with your goal. So the reason, though, that the survival trap is so dangerous is because of what happens to us with fear-based thinking. So what we're dealing with right now is a situation, and this is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And the premise behind Maslow's hierarchy of needs is that all of us human beings have basic needs. When those basic needs are met, we are able to move up the hierarchy and function at these higher levels. So, Tina, thank you. I will explain Q storming briefly. I'll get there in a minute. I appreciate you pointing that out. These higher levels on the hierarchy, most of us were probably functioning at these higher levels about 10, 12 days ago. As a matter of fact, I know all the Breakthroughs on the Bayou retreat participants, we were all up here around esteem and self-actualization because we had some great connection going, some really good mindset, and some big breakthroughs happening at the retreat. And many of us came back, and now we have a world where, coronavirus is everywhere, and the talk and the media about it, and there's big life changes happening in all of our lives because of it. So even though we were up here, many are now being pulled down into these lower levels of the hierarchy, which is perfectly natural. So we're focusing on physiological needs and safety needs. When people are running to the store for toilet paper, that's base level physiological needs. When we're looking at safety, when we're isolating or quarantining in our homes to avoid a virus, that is a safety need. And that's where we're focusing. The danger in all of that is it takes us away from these higher level needs that we all need. Love. We need to feel a sense of belonging for our psychological health, connecting with others. So looking for those opportunities that you have to connect with others. And I'm going to be sharing some of those with you here shortly, and the importance of that. But also the higher level thinking that we entrepreneurs need to be able to access to think strategically happens at these higher levels of Maslow's hierarchy. So I want to make sure that we get you as an entrepreneur very quickly up out of physiological and safety needs and get you back into these higher levels so that you can do the strategic thinking that you need to do to make good decisions and move your business forward even through the coronavirus event. One of the things that is an opportunity for you, I would encourage you to do it, is to get a baseline on your current level of entrepreneurial burnout and see how much risk you actually have for entrepreneurial burnout, because that will give you a way to start gauging what do you need to do to take better care of yourself so that you can move into these higher levels of Maslow's hierarchy to do your strategic thinking. You can do that by taking our assessment. It's a free assessment at tapthepotential.com/assessment. So when you take that assessment, not only are you going to get to see your level of entrepreneurial burnout, it will also very quickly show you where you have those gaps that exist in your business. You will be invited to meet with a member of our success team, Darren Hopman, who's our success team lead. He will debrief your results with you and talk with you about these gaps that exist in your business and your level of entrepreneurial burnout and the implications for you, as well as some things that you can be doing differently and how we can support you in that. But knowing your level of entrepreneurial burnout is very important because it will tell you how much self-care is important to start implementing right away. And at Tap the Potential, we are very big on veggies first. You see this behind me. Our philosophy is that we entrepreneurs are very strong, we are resilient, and we have to be taking care of ourselves so that we can take care of others. So it is the oxygen mask on your own face first before you try to save other people. You have, as an entrepreneur, as a leader in your business and in your family and in your community, you have a lot of people looking to you right now for leadership and guidance. It is very tempted to put your own self-care aside and go in there and be that Wonder Woman or Superman that you imagine yourself to be. That always feels really good. Like, I'm going to swoop in and save the world. We have to take care of ourselves first. We will not be any good to others if we are not doing that. So self-care during this time is critical. This is not a time to sacrifice self-care. So here are some things that I want to share with you. If you take our assessment and you see that your risk for entrepreneurial burnout is very high, it's important that you start implementing self-care right away. If your risk is not so high, I still want you doing these self-care activities because you need to maintain a good level of mental health through this event so that you can do the best strategic thinking possible. So here are some tips for you. Tip number 1 is adequate sleep. And I'm going to be straight up with you. I did not sleep good last night. I only got 6 hours of sleep. And I'm working on this. Sleep is one of my most important goals because as a psychologist, I know what it does to our brain and our thinking when we are not getting 8 hours of sleep every night. And it is 8 hours that we need, not 7, not 5, not 6. 8. We have toxins that build up in our brain throughout the day. And as we sleep at night, it is our cleansing system to remove those toxins. We need those toxins to get out of our brain so we can do our best strategic thinking and to keep us from having any symptoms of mental health problems like depression and anxiety that are big risk factors for entrepreneurs. So work on your sleep. Really make it a priority during this time to get in bed at the time that you need to get in bed to get those 8 hours of sleep. The next most important thing to be working on is your mindset and maintaining a healthy mindset. So I'm going to make a very strong recommendation to you. This is how I live my life, and it is working very well for me. And many of our entrepreneurs follow similar practices that I talk to, and they maintain a good, healthy, resilient mindset in this way. So limit your media consumption during the coronavirus event. I would recommend that you check 1 or 2 major news sources at one time a day. And I personally don't like to check it first thing in the morning or at night. And there's a couple of reasons. I don't check first thing in the morning because I want a good mindset throughout my day. I don't check it just before bed because I won't sleep. So my preference is to check the news sources around noon at lunchtime. Gives me a time to kind of process what's going on, gives me time to connect with other people and have some conversations about it so that I can, if anything's bothering me, I can vent, get some ideas and get some support around it, and then move through my day. So strong recommendation, limit your media consumption, including your social media consumption. It is critical at this point to protect our mindset. So we want to be operating from a growth mindset, a mindset of resiliency, and mindset of gratitude, looking for what do we have to be grateful for. Yes, a lot of things are changing in our lives right now and in our businesses. There are a lot of challenges that we're going to be dealing with and working through. Those challenges always present opportunities. So we need to be looking from that mindset of gratitude and what is the opportunity here? What can I be grateful for? What do I still have? Versus scarcity mentality. When we go into scarcity mentality, that is fear-based thinking, it's very restrictive. We need to be hyper vigilant in our world for people that reinforce scarcity mentality and get away from conversations with them and don't engage in that in social media. Don't share it. Don't spread it. Look for healthy, positive things to be sharing. Okay. I'm not suggesting a Pollyanna view about coronavirus. I am suggesting be mindful of your mindset during this time. Another key thing to be doing is a mindfulness practice. I personally use the Calm app and do a 10-minute meditation every morning. It has been huge for my mindset over the last year and a half. Now, I want to say something to you about mindfulness. I am not great at sitting for 10 minutes and not having thoughts run through my head. I'm really terrible at that. My mind goes continually, as does most entrepreneurs. So here's the deal about mindfulness. It is not important that you practice it perfectly. It is more important that you sit for 10 minutes and that you become more aware of your thinking and that you are having that time to just breathe and relax, because that deep breathing and that relaxation clears the stress and helps us access our better thinking, which we need during this time. So it is more about the practice of meditation rather than the perfection of meditation. So Calm app is a great way to get support and practice your meditation during this time. Another self-care strategy that I highly recommend is exercise. And I know going to the gym, not a good idea right now. I would recommend getting outside, getting some fresh air, taking a walk, keeping your distance from other people, obviously, but get out there and enjoy the fresh air. That is very important for our immune system and our health. Or if you have ways to do exercise in your home, yoga, treadmill. I have a little mini tramp in my home. It's getting a lot more use these days than ever. So those are some ways. And getting your blood flowing, again, helps with your strategic thinking. It helps with your mindset and your mental health. Exercise and sleep are highly correlated with good mental health. So this is the time that we need to be doing that. And good mental health is highly correlated with a strong immune system. The other thing that I want to encourage you around is being mindful of the conversations and the people that you surround yourself with to protect your mindset. There is that saying that our thinking is the average of the 5 people with whom we spend the most time. And be mindful of who your 5 people are. And if you're home with your kids, like me, my kids are home for the next month, and I'm going to be homeschooling them in the midst of everything else. I'm being super mindful of who are my 5 and how do I elevate my 5. So I want to share some resources with you to support you in that. The Profit by Design podcast, which is a Tap the Potential production. Mike Bruno and I put out a podcast every Thursday, and it is all about health positive, resilient, entrepreneurial thinking, being strategic in your business, and designing a business that supports the lifestyle you desire. So if you are not in a lot of good conversations with healthy people, listening to podcasts that are healthy conversations is very good for your mindset. And the other thing that I want to address right now around mindset is our Q storming process. So Tina said, elaborate more on what Q storming is. In our Breakthroughs on the Bayou retreat and in our Better Business, Better Life programming, we utilize Q storming. And Q storming is very different than masterminding as it's done traditionally. In a traditional mastermind, you bring forth a problem or a challenge like, hey, I'm losing business because of coronavirus. This is my problem. And then your peers in that group would start brainstorming with you ways to deal with that. And so you get all these ideas coming at you. And what happens, oddly enough, and this is just how we're wired as human beings, we hear those as advice and suggestions. And guess what we do? We start yeah-butting in our head. Even if we know socially we shouldn't yeah-but, we should just sit and listen and take it in. In our head, we're going, yeah, but that won't work, or yeah, but I tried this. So we shut down with advice giving. It's not effective. Q storming totally circumvents that process. And what we do with Q storming is we bring the challenge in and we clarify with you, the specifics around the situation. So we get that clarified. And then we ask you, what is your major question that you're bringing forth around this challenge? And from that, we start brainstorming questions with you. Now, here's why this is so effective. The questions we ask determine the solutions that we find. So if we are not asking good questions, or if our questions are too small, or if they're based in tunnel vision because we are very stressed at the point that we're asking the question, then the solutions that we come up with may be very narrow, very short term, and they could actually take us in these directions that take us off track from our main goal that we're trying to accomplish. So the Q storming process is actually a way of making sure that you're surrounding yourself with people who are supporting you in growth thinking and a more resilient mindset so that you can identify opportunities, even in the crisis of coronavirus, that move you closer to your vision rather than in directions that lead off in the wrong direction. The Q storming process is based on the premise that when we have a challenge in front of us, we get tunnel vision and we go narrow on it. And we need to identify all the area of opportunity around that. So it's done in a group with other entrepreneurs, or at least in partnership with another entrepreneur, supporting you and asking better and better questions. The questions are asked in such a way that your defenses go down and you're actually able to take it in, versus the situation that happens with traditional brainstorming and masterminding where defenses go up and you don't necessarily take that information in. We also combine Q storming with experience sharing, and there's lots of research that shows that we are much more receptive to hearing experience of others and using those stories to help us create our own story around how we will handle the situation in front of us. So it's a much more effective process than masterminding. Those of you who are not current clients at Tap the Potential, in the past, we have never done one-off sessions because we are a comprehensive, we're working on your business and on your life. So we work very comprehensively with our clients. And I recognize that many of you are in a situation right now where you don't have access to higher level thinking to support you strategically as an entrepreneur in dealing with the coronavirus event and what's going on in your business. So that's why I spent this past weekend designing a Q Storm protocol specifically for people who have yet to be in our Better Business, Better Life program, so that we at Tap the Potential can use all of the good stuff that we know psychologically that supports you as an entrepreneur in a 45-minute strategy session to support you with Q storming. What are the opportunities in front of you to really make your business stronger through the coronavirus event. And in turn, as you make your business stronger, that is supporting your life and helping you have a higher quality of life through the coronavirus event. So that's what I want to share with you next, is that you have the opportunity with us to do a strategy session. You can sign up for one at tapthepotential.com/strategy. This is a 45-minute Q-storming strategy session with one of our strategists on the Tap the Potential team. If we have the luxury of having a couple of us available, or even other members of the Tap the Potential community available to participate in the Q-storming with you, we will offer you that opportunity as well. The investment for that is $250. So be prepared for that. You can go to tapthepotential.com/strategy. We will have appointments throughout this week and in the coming weeks available to you. So this is your opportunity if you are really looking to get ahead of the situation in your business and look at, how do I deal with what's in front of me? Here are the challenges that I have, and what can I do to make this an opportunity rather than a threat to my business and move that forward. That's what that strategy session would be for. And you can access that at tapthepotential.com/strategy. Now, I have a couple of other resources I want to share with you as well. One of our members of the Tap the Potential team, Lisa Kramer, who teaches our Coach Approach program, is also a certified yoga instructor. And she messaged me this Saturday and she said, I just did the coolest thing. I attended a yoga session on Zoom because the live session had been canceled, but they participated over Zoom and the whole session was led on Zoom. So Lisa said she would like to offer that to our greater Tap the Potential community, and there's no charge for it. It will happen on Tuesday, March 24th, noon Central, 1 Eastern, 11 Mountain, and 10 Pacific. You can access that. You don't have to register. You just show up. tapthepotential.com/yoga. Lisa wanted me to be very clear with you that this is for beginners. So you have to have no previous yoga experience to do this. It's for men. It's for women. It's open to everyone. There is no charge to do this. She's doing this out of the goodness of her heart. She believes in being a gift. And this is one of her gifts. Yoga is tremendous for our mindset and our relaxation and for boosting immune response. So I highly encourage you to take advantage of that opportunity. So as we close today, I want to recap. We've been talking about entrepreneurial burnout and how that places us at risk for anxiety, depression, all kinds of chronic health conditions. Many of you are at a place of entrepreneurial burnout already, and now you're having to deal with a crisis on top of it, which it just heightens your risk even further. So there's tremendous importance here for your own self-care. We've got to put our oxygen masks on first and take care of ourselves as entrepreneurs before we can lead in our families, in our businesses, and in our communities effectively. So now is the time to be doing that personal self-care, and then looking at how do I become more effective strategically working on the business, because it's that strategic thinking, making those decisions and looking for those opportunities that move you closer to your business goal that you have that supports your life vision. That's where we want you thinking, but that comes with doing your personal veggies first, the things that you need for your own self-care. So I talked to you about the importance of getting good sleep. We talked about mindfulness and meditation, using the Calm app as a resource possibly to support you in that. Daily exercise is very important. Yoga would fall in that realm. Stretching, yoga, all of that is very good for our immune response. And it also helps with mood and sleep. Amazing how all these things kind of work together and come together to support each other. Limit your media consumption to looking at a major news outlet or a couple of major news outlets once a day. I recommend midday versus morning and night. And then being very mindful of who your strategic thinking partners are and keeping yourself surrounded with people who think in a healthy, positive way. So I so appreciate all of you who have joined me today. Next week, come back same time. I have Sir Stephen Wilkinson joining me. Sir Stephen was our VIP speaker at the Breakthroughs on the Bayou event that we had here 2 weeks ago. He talked to us about having an investor mindset as we work on our business. I was just in conversation with him an hour or so before this Facebook Live event, and he has some important insights that I asked him to bring forth and share with you that will support your strategic thinking as you deal with the coronavirus event in your business. So that will be our Facebook Live at this same time next Monday. And we will continue this series going forward throughout the coronavirus event, same time every Monday, self-care and strategy for entrepreneurs through the coronavirus event. And just a reminder, if you want to have a strategy session with a member of the Tap the Potential team, you can sign up for that at tapthepotential.com/strategy. That's it for now. Take care of yourself and be well.
If you're like most business owners, you have a cash-sucking business that's taking over your life. After the first year in our Better Business, Better Life program at Tap the Potential, you'll have more time for what matters to you and more money in your bank account than you've ever had. Get started. Take our assessment at tapthepotential.com/assessment. Thank you for spending time with us today. Join our conversation in the Profit by Design podcast Facebook group. Share your thoughts on today's episode, ask us questions, and let us know what you want to hear about next. Visit our website at profitbydesignpodcast.com to access resources from our sponsors and tools we've created for you. Subscribe to the show on whatever platform you're listening to right now. There's a subscribe button right there. Go ahead and hit it so that you always get a notification when we release a new episode. And finally, share our podcast with a friend if you know a friend who would enjoy it. Thanks again for listening. This is real life business. Keep your chin up, keep moving forward. You got this.